It's Friday night, and welcome to the Fancaste, episode 47. I'm your under-the-weather lifting nerd, Brain Muffin, also known as Brain Cuck or Cuck Muffin or a bunch of other stupid things, and Channel Dad. I was called Channel Dad quite a bit last weekend, more so than I've ever been called ever in my life, since no one's ever called me that face-to-face. Well, I don't know where the normal crew is. They know they're supposed to be here, but filling in, we have our good friend TapAndDie back.
Hey, how's it going, guys? Oh, wait, should I say one guy when I have Brian Lake with here?
Yeah, just back away from your mic a little bit. Don't swallow it. You're redlining a little bit. That's much better. We'll get the rest of the crew on as they show up. Eric was with us, and we got ready to start, and he dropped off. We've tried 3 times to get him back, and L&B's not here yet. And Reality's Frank is stuck in My Life Sucks mode, I guess. I don't know. He needs some good vibes, people. You know, we really need Frank coming back on here. It's been a long time since he's been able to contribute, and I miss his twisted sense of reality. So I want to thank everybody who has listened to episode 46. That was the last one we did. Now, last Friday, I was in Indianapolis at HorrorHound, and the week before that is when we did episode 46. It's our most listened to episode ever. 396 views. That's awesome. Almost 400. So let's see if we can get it over 400. That'd be awesome. I don't know if we'll ever do live casting on this. I did some live casting on over the weekend on my own channel. It's very interesting because a couple of them got like 100 views on stuff, and no one was on there when I was live casting. It's only like two minutes of I forget what was going on. So, TapAndDie, did you listen to WCBS last episode from yesterday?
Yeah, I actually listened to him this morning. That's how I do it. I listened to him on iTunes.
Yeah. So, do you have any questions for me about HorrorHound or any inside scoops you want to know?
Yes. Were you talking to men in the bathroom?
Amen. Yes, I was. I was pretty much minding my own business, washing my hands, and this guy just starts talking to me like, we need to carry on a conversation. And I can't tell if this guy's homeless. He is. I had seen him earlier because it was the time when Dion was running around with the turkey suit. And before Dion started walking around, I was actually live streaming him doing things. And the guy walked by, he kind of ducked under me, which is not hard to do since, I'm a little bit taller than your average person. And so I remembered him from that. And he was telling me that he'd just gotten out of jail, that he was getting his life back together, and his dad recommended that he come to this convention and cosplay, do something different. And I was, trying to figure out how in the heck do I get out of this conversation the whole time, but still be polite, right? And then while this guy's talking to me more than anything, because I'm still washing my hands, that's the other thing is the bathrooms kept running out of paper towels. Kendo and Dion both walk in, and they're looking at me like, wow, that guy's a weirdo. I seem to attract them. I guess I'm strange enough that weirdos feel comfortable talking to me. And, he's just, and I was like, oh, that's great, man. And then I left. But yeah, live. So Saturday was my live at HorrorHound 2018, and it has 142 views, and it was only 2 minutes. I was just kind of experimenting. No one was on with me. A couple other live streams, someone was on. And one of my live streams, I forget which one, you'll hear some little female voice yell at me telling me I can't video. And all I wanted was to show how long the lines were for certain celebrities and where the tables were. At the time I did that, most of the celebrities were on break on this one section, so there was just empty tables. And I had just flipped it around to myself so I could walk through an area so I wouldn't accidentally show a celebrity. And I got yelled at, and I'm like, okay, this is the second time I've been yelled at for taking pictures or videoing. Now, technically, I was not recording anything. It was all live stream. So technically, I was not doing and I was like, I'm done. I turned it off, and I didn't do any more. Saturday, I got yelled at by Lori Petty through her handler. I wanted pictures of, at most, a profile of a celebrity. but I'd rather not I'd rather have the back of their head, if anything at all. I wanted I was trying to get crowd shots. I was trying to get, people meeting these celebrities and their expressions and stuff like that. I'm not there to take pictures of celebrities. If I'm there to do that, I'll pay for it,
Mhm.
But my problem was I lingered too long. And what's interesting is I saw Lori do a selfie with two guys through my viewfinder, and so I'm using a digital SLR, and I'm using the viewfinder. I'm not using a point and shoot or anything like that. I've got an $1,800 lens on my camera, so usually people don't say boo to me because they look at the camera and they're like, well, that's and it's not it's a what they call prosumer, right? If I wanted to spend $3,500 on a pro camera, I could, but I don't. That's just insane. And I saw through the viewfinder her do that, so I stopped taking pictures. But I held the amount of them, and I was zoomed way out. I wasn't like I was zoomed in on her, and I waited for her to stop and turn around and actually talk to people. And then I took a couple more, and then someone was asking me if I was with the con, and I explained what I was doing. She didn't seem to be too bothered. Plus, I was done. I was like, I tried to get some crowd shots, and with they have these I don't know, a wall is I guess technically correct, but they have these partitions up amongst each row. Well, those things are like 9 feet high. So the real shot that I wanted, I couldn't get because I couldn't get up high enough. And all this stems from several years of doing pictures at various beer fests, mostly in Cincinnati, some in Columbus, before they decided they didn't need my services anymore. But I could get up like 3 stories over it because they had, things you could get up to, and I could take these nice wide shots of the crowd, and I just couldn't do that there. I did not walk into any areas where people were in line to get specific autographs, like some celebrities they had in other rooms. And when I was out in the open lobby area where there was a row of tables, the only pictures I took were of cosplayers. So I want to put it out there just in case anyone affiliated with HorrorHound 2018 Indianapolis is listening. That was my only the only thing I was trying to do. I was not trying to bend the rules. I was not doing sneaky shots. Like when I was talking to Jeff, and I had been watching Dion on the live stream, and he said, "Hey Judge," because I was facing Jeff. Jeff was sitting at the table. He had said, "Hey Judge, how are you doing?" And Judge Reinhold walks right beside. He comes right beside me. I could have taken a snake pic, but I didn't. So anyway, that's what I was doing. And maybe at some point, if I ever go to another one, they'll say, "Hey, yeah, just do this, and don't stand on chairs like I was doing, and be a little bit more discreet." Maybe I won't have a problem. So anyway, because I have gotten those kinds of shots at the Comic Expo in Cincinnati. I've got a good shot of Henry Winkler signing it. He was leaving, and some little girl came up to him, and he just stopped at a table. I don't even know whose table it was, and signed an autograph. And then I've got one of John Rhys Davies, which is not on Flickr. The one for Henry Winkler is. And we were in line for, who's the guy that was the Green Ranger, the original Green Ranger?
Jason David Frank.
Jason David Frank, yeah. He has 3 first names. So my daughter wanted his, so we were in line for his, and I noticed John Rhys Davies had this couple, and for like 20 minutes, there were like 5 people in his line at this point. And I think this was late on a Saturday or a Sunday. I think it was a Sunday. And he looked so engrossed in whatever in the world they were talking to him about for it could have been 5 minutes for all I know, but it felt like 20 minutes to half an hour. And I was like, I got to get a picture of this because it showed how much he cared about whatever in the world they were telling him. I mean, I didn't know it was like a couple tables over. I couldn't hear him. And so I had my long lens and I took a picture of it. And then the pictures that I have with the Green Ranger and my daughter, I paid for those, right? I paid, I don't know, $40 or whatever it was. She got his autograph. We got multiple pictures with him. He actually was filming some stuff with his phone for his YouTube channel. So he actually interviewed my daughter. He interviewed me a little bit. I was a little bit too dry, so it was a little bit low energy. It was late in the day and I was tired, but so that was cool. So and like even there, most of the pictures I take are of like the Legoland and some cosplayers that don't mind if you take their picture. So I got a picture of what is her name? Every time I go to talk about her, I forget her name. Vamp, is there something? Leanna Vamp, I think. But a friend of my daughter's was bought a picture from her, and so I also took a picture with her, and it was pretty cool. She didn't mind. Most of the cosplayers don't mind if you ask. They do mind if you. So at Days of the Dead in February or March, whenever the heck that was, down in I think it was February, down in Atlanta, there were several. There was like someone cosplaying, like there was a Freddy and a Jason and the clown from It, and it's like, I don't know, 7 or 8 of these different horror movies. They did a group shot, and so there were about 9 of us photographers taking their picture at once. That was pretty cool. So, and I actually talked to one of the professional photographers that was there taking stuff, how to talk to people and all that other stuff. So that was pretty cool too. I got her card, but I never really followed up on anything. And the other thing I want to say that apparently either I didn't understand what they said on the podcast last night, or they didn't pick up on me. I really did not make out with some woman in the hotel lobby. I don't know. I don't know why they even thought. I mean, we were together except when Kendo decided to go back to the room 2 hours before the rest of us. We were together all the time. So I was only kidding. So, but that was where I was blaming getting whatever this crap I've got. But it was great meeting the fans. Met several fans over the weekend. It was great talking to them. And, we had Jeremy Paraboom was there Saturday. Now check this out. He drives 8 hours. Spends, I forget how many hours with us. I think around 1 o'clock he leaves to drive 8 hours to go home. I was like, you're nuts. But he did. So excuse me for coughing. So anything else you want to
know? What's it called? When y'all were just hanging out, what happened there? Y'all just went to the bars or whatever like that stuff,
yeah.
Or just hanging. I'm surprised they didn't try to do a live stream there or something. Like when that time they went.
Yeah, hold on a second. I'm gonna try Eric again. Hold on, I'll answer that in just a moment. Eric's gone green, so let's double check, make sure it doesn't stop the recording. But let's see if he answers. Yeah, pretty much it's all we did. But there was a Saturday night we hung out in the lobby bar of the hotel that the convention was in, which was, we were like connected to that.
Sorry about that.
Hey man, we've started. I'm giving TapAndDie some of the stuff about the convention over the weekend. So yeah, Jeremy and a couple other people whose names I don't remember. We were in the hotel. I guess it's like a restaurant / bar, and then we were just hanging out in the hotel lobby, and then we just kind of went our separate ways. But we had, a big table. There were 9 of us, and that's when Dion got his present. So anybody that has Patreon and has listened to After Hours, you know what that present was. He actually got it on the floor, but we actually got it out and took some pictures while we were in the restaurant. And one of the waitresses wanted to know what we were going to do with it. I don't know if she was just curious or if she wanted it herself. I don't know.
I don't even know what it is, because I could have sworn when I looked at my Patreon, it didn't show that it was loaded up.
Yeah, I haven't gotten an email about it either, but they said on the podcast they were going to talk about it in After Hours. So I don't know if it didn't. I know Jeff had, when they recorded for the Thursday last week's episode, they recorded I think 2 days early, or one day early. I think it was on Wednesday, and yeah, they had all kinds of problems. They had a bunch of technical problems and didn't record properly. So I don't know if they had the same thing or not. Because they actually hang up from Google and they go into Skype and they record the After Hours. I've been on one, so I have inside information. All right, so LMP is says he's going to be logging in a few. So Eric, is there anything you want to know about the convention?
Yeah, what was the best pair of tits you saw there?
Wow. Here's the thing. This is the second horror convention I've gone to.
Yeah.
and none of them have lived up to the stories I've heard. This one is they're trying to be more family friendly. So there were a few women wearing things that were a bit small. But I would have to say that the women 2 booths down from us, I do not know what they were selling. I think they were selling underwear.
Nice.
They had like boy shorts on with their cheeks hanging out. That was pretty nice. Now, Serena Vincent was there. I mean, granted, she was well dressed. She wasn't running around with her boobs hanging out. But if you've seen Not Another Teen Movie, you know at least she looked like when she was younger. And I swear to God, she was in a movie like Italian for Beginners or Italian for Lovers or something like that. And Saturday, I'm sitting there. I mean, I was so, my knees were hurting so much from standing so much. I was on IMDb trying to figure out which frickin' movie that I swear she was in, and I couldn't find it. And her line would be like 8 deep and then nothing for half an hour. And I was like, I didn't know if it's appropriate to go and ask her without, paying for an autograph. Because I didn't want anybody's autograph. I'm not into that. I mean, what the heck am I going to do with a picture of her? I will say this. What's her name? Shit. Who was in Dharma and Greg?
Jenna Elfman.
Jenna Elfman was just as cute in person as I thought she'd be. Although she kept disappearing. She would be at her booth and then gone for an hour, and then she'd be back for a couple hours, then gone for an hour. So I don't know what was up with that. One of the guys who played Jason, who was at the end of our row, his line was hard to miss. He would take a break every once in a while, but his line, up until about an hour and a half before the convention closed, his line was long. It had a long line constantly. It was incredible, because I saw that same guy in Atlanta in February, and hardly any. Well, they were tucked away in the vendors area, and if you didn't know that, you'd never know to go find him and some other people. So
It was it Kane Hodder that was there?
Yeah, Kane Hodder.
Oh, okay, yeah.
And he seemed like the nicest guy. That's one of the things I was telling TapAndDie when I got yelled at. I was trying to show how, because he was sitting down, so you couldn't see him through all the people. And I was trying to show how long his line was. And then somebody yelled at me for, I was live streaming. I wasn't really recording anything, but it was being recorded by YouTube. So
who was the headline celebrity there or actor? Was there one big star there? Was it all just like a little combination of like little movie stars?
So Jenna and Kane and all those, Katy Perry, Tank Girl.
Oh yeah.
So they were in the main area, but Bruce Campbell, Christian Slater,
awesome.
and
no shit.
Somebody else was. I never saw them. They were in another room, and you had to pay extra money just to get in there. So I never stuck my head, never, got in the way or anything like that of that other stuff. But somebody else was there.
Well, I thought that was awesome that Dion got to meet and get a hug from Billy Zane. I thought that was awesome.
Yeah, and that was so organic. He would just started walking down, and he was talking, and then he just kind of met eyes. And if you watch that video, I mean, you can see what happens pretty much. It's just like...
Yeah, it was hilarious, man.
Yeah, and then he got a hug from, what's his name, who was in Terminator. He was the cop in the first Terminator movie.
Yeah. Lance Henriksen.
Yeah.
Bishop from Aliens.
Yeah.
Yep.
So Kiefer Sutherland was there. I never saw him. Bruce Campbell, Robert Englund, never saw him. There were some people that were dressed very well as Freddy. Nick Castle, saw him. Shannon Doherty. Dion also walks up to her and asks, "Is this line for me?" She was kind of like half and half, and he just walked on at that point. She's really short. She's looking better. Lou Diamond Phillips, I didn't see him. Judge Reinhold came up to the table when he was walking by, and Jeff said hello. I mean, he was right beside me. I could have, poked him in the ear.
I'm surprised Jeff didn't fucking go complete fanboy.
He held it together pretty well. He was surprised. He came over. He asked if Judge does interviews, and he's kind of like, no. And he took a card. He said he was going to check him out. The guy there was a fan sitting with Jeff all day Sunday, and he had been watching Dion, and he flipped that off and actually recorded for about 10 or 12 seconds. And there was a lady with Judge that said, no recording. And I don't know if she thought he turned it off or what, because she only said it once. But I think it was his wife. When I looked up online some pictures of Judge Ryan, because I didn't realize his left eye is like a half inch lower than his right eye. And when he was younger, it's harder to see, but when he's older, it's very prominent. So I'm like, did he have a stroke or something? Because he seemed very, like getting around was difficult. And when people have strokes, they'll, one side of their face will be droopy.
Yep.
And even after they recover. Sorry,
all that coke from the 80s, man.
Yeah, maybe. So when I found out, his wife's name, I was like, I think that was that woman he was with. But what's nice is, Ethan has a friend of his is Judge's next door neighbor, Ethan Van Skyver.
Oh, sure.
So if Ethan reaches out, it's pretty, especially if he really does or did go and check out WCBS and likes it, then who knows, maybe down the line they can do an interview.
Oh, Jeff would fucking shoot a load, man.
For like 15 seconds long.
Oh, God, man.
Yeah.
Anybody from fucking Beverly Hills Cop, Jeff would fucking completely shoot a load.
Yeah. So that was what was great with Billy Zane and Dion. And so then there were a bunch of kids from it. They were in a big room, and that line was long with a bunch of little kids. Melinda Clark, I walked right past her and hardly recognized her. She's a lot older than the picture. Lori Petty. I saw Billy Zabka. Billy Zabka and Martin Cove were together. Those two and Ralph Macchio were all in Atlanta as well.
Oh,
If I was going to spend money on a pro picture, it would have been with the three of them. The problem is I get a picture, I can't do anything with it. I have to scan it or any of that nonsense. Lance Quest, saw him. That was Last Starfighter was what I knew him from. Vernon Wells was there. He was a lot smaller than I thought he'd be. E.G. Daly, some of these people do voice and stuff. Diamond Dallas Page was there. He's still a pretty big guy. The guy from Weekend at Bernie's, Terry Kisser, that was pretty funny. Where I'm looking for. Yeah, and Tom Fitzpatrick, he was in character. That was weird to see him running around in a dress. So, anyway, but yeah, it was good. I mean, it was a pretty good show, good size. There was some mix-up or who goes where, but apparently the people that run HorrorHound just screw stuff up all the time, and they've been doing it for 10 years. You'd think they would have it down. This was the first year in Indianapolis it was in that hotel, so I can understand some logistical issues when it's your first, you've moved it or something. But there were so many issues. I mean, I just walking around that first day before it really opened, and all I heard were people complaining, vendors saying, well, I got moved from here, and I'm supposed to be there, and that guy was supposed to be here, but someone was in his spot, and someone was in their spot. And I'm like, oh, my God. Did they just shuffle the deck this morning? One guy even said they didn't think he was coming. He had his confirmation email. He confirmed he was coming. His money was paid. He's like, well, okay, find me a spot or give me my money back and I'll go home. Mm-hmm. So there's some of that weirdness. See, I can't find that guy. Jason Patrick, I don't know if I saw him or not.
Oh, no shit.
But like I said, I never saw Kiefer. I never saw Bruce or Robert. Billy Zane was on the main floor, as you saw. Lieutenant Phillips, I don't remember seeing him at all.
Here's the big question. Speaking of Lost Boys, did you see Corey Haim?
Who?
Corey Haim.
Oh, he wasn't. No, he wasn't there. He was dead. Yeah, Lance Hendrickson is the guy from Terminator. So yeah, he basically called Dion over. I mean, it was hilarious. He's like, "Why are you in a turkey suit?" He told people he lost a bet, which was mostly not true.
I don't know why he was saying that.
Well,
I kept wondering, like, why
after he
would he
said
say
it like the
bet?
fourth time, I even asked, was either Kendo or Nick. I said, "Didn't somebody pay for him to be in that?" I didn't think it was a lost bet, but I think that sounds better than I'm just pimping for the channel.
I watched the whole live stream, dude. He was fucking loving every minute of it.
Oh yeah.
I think he was terrified and loving at the same time.
Yeah, he put a lot of energy into it.
Like.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And everybody was checking him out, man. Everybody was like, "What the fuck?"
Well, it was so unusual. And I don't know if that's going to become a thing every convention that WCBS does or not, but I mean, yeah,
maybe it could just Dion dresses up as the turkey and someone dresses up as a jar of mayonnaise.
Yeah, there you go.
Yeah, we did make that joke before we started live streaming. It's like, hey, Nick, we need a jar of mayonnaise. But yeah, I mean, obviously, Star Wars Celebration, it's gonna be difficult to do something like that because there's just so many freaking people.
Mm-hmm.
Well, that's gonna be locked down, man. It's gonna be like fucking Gestapo tactics there, man.
I found the movie. It's Everybody Wants to Be Italian. That's the name of the movie she was in. And she's not naked, but she is gorgeous. So
I bet you, if Jeff is able to get a question off, if it's anything negative, I bet you they're gonna shut that down real quick.
Yeah. Yeah, I think a lot of it's going to depend if Ethan is correct and Kathleen and company are gone mid-September, there may be a very different attitude. But if they are still around, yeah, it's going to be, you're going to have to start with, I absolutely love The Last Jedi. I think it's the best Star Wars movie ever, and be serious and ask things like, so tell us how it felt when you were harassed online by all those toxic masculinity fans. If it's anything, hey, when are you going to come out with a good movie? Yeah, they're just going to yank you.
So, dude, here's the fucked up part. I know we've talked about it before, and I don't mean to get sidetracked, but, Kelly Marie Tran came out recently and said that, yeah, she did, deactivate her accounts because of, harassment. And that's like, bitch, nobody harassed you. They harassed your shitty character in a shittier movie. Like, nobody fucking cares about you. It's your character they couldn't stand.
Yeah, and I don't even buy that people harassed her.
Yeah, I never saw any of that online.
No.
They just couldn't stand the fucking movie. It
was
horrible.
I think she deactivated her Instagram because she had a non-disclosure. And then you had one website. Well, it's like this straw ban in some of the towns in California. This 10-year-old kid made a claim that 500 million straws were used in the U.S. every day. And everybody repeats it like it's the gospel. And someone did an actual research and found out it was like, okay, it's still a lot, but it's like 120 million, okay? But you have a country with 360 million people, you're going to go through a few straws in a day. And they don't end up in the ocean. I mean, a lot of crap does, but it's like just insane what they're coming up with. So you get one website that says something and it gets repeated because it fits the narrative. That's the reason why that got repeated, because it fits their narrative. And even though it's garbage, right? Even though it's, and then she writes an article or does an interview talking about being harassed in Hollywood, and it's Hollywood. It's not the fans. It's because she's Asian and she's a woman. And that means she can't do this and can't do that because Asian or whatever. Had nothing to do with Star Wars fans, and yet they turn it into, see, the fans are cruel.
Oh, by the way, did you hear about Mark Hamill's recent tweet?
No. I don't know.
It's the last couple of days. Somebody, some fanboy asked him, hey, why did Luke turn into a quitter? Why did Luke give up? And Mark responded back, I don't know, but I'll let you know when I find out.
Yeah. Yeah, I think when his contract with Disney is up and he doesn't fear the mouse anymore, he's going to unload. I mean, he started to unload before the movie came out. He said in more than one interview he fundamentally disagreed. He seems to be playing along right now, but I think when it's all said and done, he's going to just basically say that was the worst character assassination he's ever seen.
I just love the fact that for the most part, Mark just doesn't give a shit anymore. You know? And I love the fact that, and it was kind of sad that he admitted it, but at the same time, you know, it was cool. He came out and said that, I don't care anymore. You can't put the band back together. I don't care.
Yeah. Yeah, and you can't go home again, that kind of thing. And it's like, it was really a shame that the biggest three loved characters of that trilogy, and they never have a scene together. And then the one where Luke and Leia have a scene, it's a gotcha. He really isn't here. So that's just stupid. And what's interesting about, I did watch the Red Letter Media's, yeah,
it was hilarious.
It was good.
I watched it the other day.
Yeah, somebody was saying it was, because what I liked about it is it didn't repeat a lot of the stuff everybody else, WCBS was in the list of things that went by, and Mahler but you've got fanboys that were disappointed, and they were saying, I'm not calling for a boycott, but boy do I like cots. But the things that they picked out, it's like, when I watched that, now granted I was drinking that night, there were times when it was like, this is a good part of a movie and this is a good part of a movie, and I don't know if I agree with an hour and 45 minutes. I think maybe an hour and 5 minutes of good movie, but the interaction between Luke and Rey, when Luke is kind of giving why he's a little bit downcast about the Jedi and how their hubris led to their fall, I thought was very good insight. I thought, okay, that is appropriate, but that interaction was appropriate, but the way Luke would have reacted to that is, I'm not going to make those mistakes, right? I'm going to stay humble to even within my powers, to not make that same mistake. But you got to remember, in the first movie, Kenobi says for 1,000 generations, the Jedi were rulers of keepers of peace in the galaxy. So that's
guardians of justice and peace. Yeah.
Right. That's a long time to get a little bit proud of yourself. So, yeah, it was definitely very poorly handled, and they really. But see, that was his expectation, and part of the things that they they brought up in that is, how Ryan just kind of went out of his way. It's like, oh, you think it's going to go this way? Psych. Oh, you think it's going to go this way? Oh, psych. Yep. It's like the one where it's like, okay, I've got all the people on the ship. I got to get them somewhere else. All but one character is here. Oh crap! I got to get them somewhere else. Oh crap! I got to get them back together.
He purposely wanted to fuck with what the audience expected. And you could tell, man. I said, I watched the documentary on the Blu-ray, and he was like fucking giddy. Giddy is a little kid,
Oh yeah. And the reaction of fans, that just fuels his ego. The fact that there's all these people angry about it just makes his ego grow more.
I mean, it blew my mind, and Plinkett showed the scene in the review, but it's also in the Blu-ray, the making of, when he came out at the rap party. He's like, I think we just made a Star Wars movie. It's like, you little fucking shithead. You should be coming out there going, hey man, we just made a fucking Star Wars movie. Fuck yeah.
Yeah. Yep. No, I agree. And that's the thing too. I think it was in the Plinkett review when they were saying it almost like he made a comedy, was trying to make a comedy, and then,
Well, he even said because I listened to the audio commentary, because first of all, I listen to audio commentaries. I love them. Hell, I even do some myself, but I wanted to hear what this piece of shit had to say. And he even said that, like with Hux, he purposely wanted to go Monty Python with him. Like, what the fuck are you talking about? It's like really, fucking your mama joke in Star Wars? Like, that doesn't work.
Yeah, that's not even Monty Python.
Yeah.
Wait, is Eric still bitching about your mama joke in Star Wars?
Oh,
Get
man.
over
Yeah.
it. It happened.
How did you join LMP?
Hey, LMP.
Apparently it's much easier to join through my phone than it is when whatever other device I use. So go figure.
Hey, LMP. Where are my strawberries at?
Strawberries, go get another spick to pick your fruit for you.
Oh no. Who's going? Who's going on the
now?
robot?
I think it's LMP.
Uh-oh. Talk, TapAndDie. I got to get the dog out from under my desk.
Okay. It was Brian Leif who invented German Scheiser porn. There, I said it.
Leif is anus.
Very anus.
You know what? It's a good night tonight. Maybe I might actually step outside and have this there.
Oh man, but this weather, it's really bad in Texas. It should be called an oven over here. 'Cause damn, it's hot.
We're good.
What do you say, Eric?
Where are you at? You in Texas?
Yeah.
Well, I know I'm in Palm Springs, and I just left my job, and it was about 110 degrees. What's it like out there in Texas?
Let's see. I think it was 107 today.
But you got the humidity to deal with.
The what?
I said, but unfortunately, you got the humidity to deal with.
Yeah, tell me about that.
Why the hell does this thing say stupid network
I
connection?
feel like I swear, I feel like I pissed my pants or something, because I'll feel it when I start moving, like I'm slowing down. I'm like, my pants feel wet.
I'm like,
that's how bad it is.
I lived in Spain for about
outside right now.
6 months, and I could not believe how fucking god awful fucking hot it was summertime.
Mm-hmm.
Holy shit!
Yep.
Hey, LMP, we can hear you. I don't know who you're talking to, but we can hear you.
Wait, you can't hear me?
Yeah, I heard you talking to somebody while Eric was talking.
Okay, never mind. My connection seems to be a little better now.
Wouldn't it be great if we could all go to Texas, find Leanne McAdoo, and see her big fucking sweaty in the fucking hot Texas weather? God, that would be beautiful.
I have a question. How are the women in Texas?
Oh man, they're pretty actually decent. Because I got a new job. All the women look good there. Like,
I love your too.
Mm-hmm. What'd you say, Eric?
I just wanted to let Leanne know, in case she ever hears this, that I love her and I love her kids.
Ladies and gentlemen, it's not a show with Eric Ward if he doesn't always mention Leanne McAdoo, which is perfectly fine. We can understand why.
Yeah.
No, but
and we're going back to an old staple of LMP, which is terrible connections. Again, you guys are going to have to, if it becomes a problem, I may end up having to back out because for some dumb reason, my router decided to stop working today. I can work just fine connected directly to it, but any other device that uses Wi-Fi, if for some reason it's not picking up its signal. So I've tried everything I can think of. Unfortunately, this is what I've been reduced to today. So I will definitely be phasing in and out of robot type of voice every now and then.
All right. We'll just call you Kendo.
LMP, what's up with that? Usually it's me that's robot in all the fucking place.
Oh, God. Well,
Well, that's the wonder of technology, right? Sometimes it works and sometimes it don't.
Yeah, just like they said in Spaceballs, even in the future, nothing works.
Yeah. 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 Although I must say we got storms rolling in. They were supposed to come in like 3:00 in the morning, but it looks like we're going to get one early. So who knows what's going to happen here? We could always lose power. So, well,
A lot of things.
a lot of things can happen. Let's see if we can get this show done. So, TapAndDie, you did have a topic you wanted to talk about.
Yes. As the Crunchyroll's a new original series, High Guardian Spice. I almost forgot the name, actually. That's how terrible it is. Okay.
Oh yeah, you've been holding on to that one for a while.
Yeah, because I'm just like, because I'm thinking, man, I thought the Star Wars Resistance trailer was bad, and I'm like, this is even worse because they didn't even show anything. Like you watch the video, and I even showed somebody, a friend of mine at work, and I was like, do you know what this show's about? He's like, I don't know. They didn't really talk about it, and I'm like, exactly. They say, oh, it's this and that. It's gonna be weird, or it's gonna be about these girls. And I'm like, but we didn't see anything. We didn't see any of the characters interacting with each other. And he kind of really got a good look at the setting, maybe some villains, I don't know, whatever. But they didn't. All they showed were storyboards and about how, oh, guess what? We're diverse. The writing staff is 100% women, white women, and ain't no black people on there or Asians. Sorry, LMP, no Asians for you. Mm-hmm. And it's just like,
do they have
okay.
any horses?
Shit, they got one that looks good enough to be a horse. So Dion's out up there already.
Dion will be sad.
Yeah. But and then but thing is too is when that trailer dropped, some of the channels I watch, Weaponized Nerd Rage, The Quartering, they were the two ones talking about it. And I was like, okay, so what I did was I looked at some other channels, like some more obscure ones that were like just anime dedicated shows. That's all they talk about. The weeaboo kinds and the otakus or whatever. And I'm like, okay, what do they think? And so they're talking about not just like that show's the problem, but Crunchyroll as a whole is the problem right now. Because there's one thing, it was pretty interesting. I didn't think about it, is a few people talk about it was like, well, hey, Crunchyroll's making all this money, but instead of investing it back to the animation companies, in Japan, because they, it's this thing people talk about. So, well, the animators don't get paid well. And I said, well, damn, they probably could if they had invested that money, but instead here they want to make this kind of shitty, SJW feminist driven show. And we still don't really know what it's about because that trailer didn't tell us nothing. Yeah.
So I have a question, TapAndDie.
Mm-hmm.
How do you think Mr. Anime would have reacted to something like this?
Mr. Anime?
Ah, damn! I wish you had known who that was.
Was he a YouTuber?
Yeah, he was a YouTuber. He killed some people, but he had a channel dedicated to anime.
Well, that's I've never watched too many like anime channels. That's I didn't really follow.
It was from like the earlier days. He killed, I think, family members of his. I just brought it up because I was like, damn, joke here and there.
Mm-hmm.
So, my terrible joke aside, when I was looking closer at this animation. Like you said, there's nothing about it. We don't know what it is. Just that it's here. Look at us. We're so diverse. Look at our color schemes. Wow. It's funny how SJWs are always the ones that notice color more often than non-SJWs and try to make a point or pointing them out. But the more I looked at the artwork, the more I'm like, this is on some dumb. This isn't anime. This is that dumb Steven Universe type of look thing going on here. You just put some anime-esque eyes on it and called it a fucking day. It's not anime.
Mm-hmm. That's what everyone's saying. That's like the first thing they'll say is it looks like a damn Steven Universe ripoff or their copy and just like shit. Because people, that's like the first thing people jump on is that. And I'm just like, well, yeah, because they're getting lazy these days. A lot of these animation companies in over here in the States, I think they're just getting lazy, not even trying really hard to make some good animation. It's all the good shit's coming from Japan.
Yeah, because of the people. I mean, at least listen. I can shit on a lot of modern animes as well from Japan, but at least there's a level of heart, there's a level of skill involved that some of these people are putting some effort into it. It's just that, and I feel part of the problem is with Western animation, specifically here in the U.S. We no longer value skill. We just value the message of the thing. Like there was a time where you had to learn how to actually draw the human body in order to make it into to put those characters into a comic book. Eventually, you could have some leeways, different art styles and whatnot, but it's like the bar is set so low now that anyone could just grab a pen and paper, do a quick sketch or something, and it's not even like a complete sketch. And then somebody will say, hey, look, that's good, since we'll really be willing to work with you for probably around the same price that we pay someone who actually has some skill, maybe less. And it's basically what it is rewarding mediocrity. We don't have any effort put into these things.
And what's it called? Well, actually, I was gonna say too is you were talking about how they don't really value hard work and all that. Well, it was funny because I was listening to Weaponized Nerd Rage. He was doing a live stream. I think it was the one called "Religion's the New" or "Politics is the New Religion." But they were talking about how all these companies, the way they're just being lazy and they really don't.
My connection is terrible tonight.
Yeah. But
I'm sorry, man. My connection is awful tonight.
Well, Eric dropped out while you guys were talking too.
It's like every other minute my phone is saying poor network connection. And you know what's the funny part is I actually had to step outside to try to get better service, and it's still not working.
Turn your wireless off on your phone.
I'm back now.
Yes,
it is off.
Eric is back.
Sorry, my fucking wife keeps calling me.
I don't know. Today just happened to be the day where everything went wrong.
What went wrong, LMP?
Oh, the fact that that apparently I've been behind on my bills and I can't afford a decent Wi-Fi service. So I have to go on back of Home Depot and do for customers. I'm not talking about prostitution.
Well, it could be worse. You could be fucking married.
Oh. We were just talking about anime and mediocrity. You want to talk about marriage? I'm pretty sure they're all related.
With your wife calling you every day asking you what you're doing when she fucking knows what you're doing. You're driving fucking home from work. What time are you going to be home? When I'm always fucking home. Yeah. What do you want to eat? I don't give a shit.
Say, I'm just leaving the mistress's house. I'll be home in an hour. I'm just leaving my side bitch's house. I'll be home in an hour.
Go. What are you doing?
Sounds like she's.
I'm fucking driving. What are you doing?
Well, then the boys must be well behaved if she's that bored.
My kids, shit. I wish. Dude, it's just a control thing. Wanting to know where you're at and what you're doing. Ridiculous.
Yep.
So LMP, don't feel too bad, dude. It could be a lot worse.
Oh, he's bee-booping again.
Being like, I do want to find that person. Oh, crap.
There you go. Keep talking. You're better now. Go.
Okay. Yeah. So just to get to the point, sometimes I just wish I could be happier. I really do. And if crap, it's coming and going, ain't it?
No.
Oh, really?
It's fine.
Okay. So yeah. So happiness, sometimes I just need another half. The burro ain't cutting it anymore. He's getting too talkative, and I just can't seem how to get rid of him.
You can do what the French do and just eat him.
We can't eat we Mexicans can't eat our burros. They're like sacred to us. They're like cows to us.
Well, are you Hindu?
Oh, I didn't say we were Hindu. I'm just saying they're like whatever the cows are to them. The burros are that to us. Can't just eat them.
Mm-hmm.
God, that would piss off our God.
Hey, do what white people do. Bury it in the fucking backyard.
Only thing missing.
Oh, there you went again. Can't hear you, LMP. Beep boop. Are they both out?
Wait.
Eric, you still there?
Who?
Yeah, I'm here.
Okay.
Oh, that was Eric that time.
Now, what were you saying about your burro?
Oh, no, I just said that. Oh, never mind. World's dead now. There he went. He got hit by a car. He's gone. Well, Liquid Metal Pro single again.
Is your real name like Jorge or something?
Believe it or not, my first name is not the most spick name out there. It really isn't even a spick name. Obviously, I would have to have a spick last name, but not a first name, surprisingly. So my parents, yes. So not for nothing. And my parents, and I am thankful for this. My parents did the smart thing. They gave me a nice sounding American name, so I would actually have a chance in life.
What, David?
Oh, I am so certain there's so many people going to be pissed off once they hear that joke.
Yeah,
He doesn't like his Spanish heritage. Look how he's always insulting us. No, guys, I love my Spickish brethren. I love you all. I mean, obviously we're retarded, but
Not too long ago,
and come on, let's face it. And this is something even Eric knows.
LMP.
Are you staring at Spanish women again, Eric?
No, not too long ago, I was talking to a Mexican girl, and she was telling me about her family and stuff, and she mentioned her brother, and I said, "Oh, okay." I'm like, "What's your brother's name?" She said, "Taco." I laughed so fucking hard, dude. I swore she was gonna punch me. I was like, "Your brother's name is Taco?" What the fuck?
Oh my God!
She's like, "Fuck you! It's Mexican."
Like the most Mexican name.
No. The most
Or
Mexican.
Jesus.
Jesus, yeah, that's pretty much it.
Yeah, Jesus.
I mean, I wasn't trying to laugh, but it just came out, you know.
Mm-hmm.
Well, I mean, it like let's be for real. You ask a Mexican person like what the name of the relative is, and if it's something like obviously Spanish, you can't help but want to laugh because it's like, damn, I should have known better.
Mm-hmm. That's
It
like,
happens, man.
Names like
It's always a Juan. It's always listen. It's always gonna be a Pablo, a Paco, a Juan, and what's the other common one? Well, we already know Jesus and Jorge.
Jesus, Jorge,
Yeah.
Jose.
Jaime. That's a good one.
Yeah. What
I
else?
forget that one exists.
Javier.
Javier, yeah.
Oh man.
You know, the guy from X-Men. Javier.
No, but usually Javier is like the cool name. Think about it. Yeah.
No, it is
Javier,
Ricky Martin.
Let's see. That would.
Ricky.
Ricky Martin.
Damn it. I don't know if
What?
it's me or Eric is beep booping.
No,
think
I
it's Eric.
I said, do you have any Spanish blood in you, or are you just Mexican?
Who?
Are you really asking me that question?
Yes.
When did this become? Let's question LMP about his
Well,
heritage.
considering
You bleed
Mexican,
brown.
Mexican is a mixture between Spanish and the Indians that were there.
Yes, I understand.
Right,
That,
bunch of
but
mutts.
if you call a Spaniard a Mexican, they'll fucking kill you.
Yes.
Oh.
Well,
As they
yes.
should.
Maybe,
And then there's the
well,
Spanish.
maybe 10 years
the-
ago.
Go ahead.
Well, here's the thing. Maybe 10 years ago, but from what I understand, lately they've cucked out to other brown people, so I don't think that might be the case anymore.
It's
Yeah.
like calling an Irishman a Scotsman or a Scotsman an Irishman. They don't like that shit.
Oh, no, call him an Englishman. That'll be.
It's like calling a Puerto Rican a Mexican. They don't like that shit either.
Yeah. No, you call a Scotsman an Englishman, you better be standing back,
Yeah,
especially if
exactly.
he's drunk.
Yeah, imagine that.
Oh,
Yeah.
if you stand back, you'll be safe.
Well, you might get a knife thrown at you if you stand back, but yeah,
Yeah,
you're not going
very
to get
true.
punched.
Either that or
Go up to a
some dark.
Scots pot of gold.
That's Irish, you dumbass.
You bastard!
Again, point.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
That's funny
Sorry,
that-
kid. No, I didn't get your humor.
you're a pot of gold.
Yeah. So, yeah, are you guys done talking about Crunchyroll, or are we going to go on to, our heritage?
Crunchyroll sounds like it should be on the menu somewhere, and it's not. So there, I said my piece.
I think that's the joke.
I'm sure Paco would like that.
Mm-hmm.
Welcome to Taco Bell, where we got the new Crunchyroll tortilla.
No, Paco be in the back, cooking the food, not the even.
Yeah, exactly.
Well, all the Asians are out serving it. They got the Mexicans cooking it.
And remember, it's authentic if the people from that nation is serving it to you. Just remember that.
Anyway, Crunchyroll.
God, I'm pretty
See,
sure
folks, this is the kind of stuff you don't get on the main show.
tacos and tacos and everything. We're banned in like some Paco country.
Hey, LMP, you want to hear some funny shit, and then I'll get off the Mexican.
Oh shit! There's a cat outside right now.
There is a Mexican pizzeria around here. It is fucking hilarious. You walk in, you can hear fucking mariachi music and shit.
This is the happiest I've ever heard Eric on this
Yeah, I
show.
know. He's gone off the deep end. He's
Oh
gone
my
insane.
god, it's the Mexican women. Oh man, you got that Mexican fever.
Man, I haven't been on in weeks, man.
He wants to shake their maracas.
You know it.
Oof. He wants to motorboat them babies.
Oh, I would motorboat those till my dick fell off.
He wants to meet the Mexican equivalent of Liam McAdoo.
Oh my god, dude! I don't have erectile dysfunction problems, but I would take fucking ED pills just to fuck her all night long. I mean, all night.
Right.
Should we sing the song now?
Yeah.
All night,
What's that?
all
Oh,
night
hey.
long. What song?
You like it?
You guys never heard of Lionel Richie?
All night long.
You unwashed
All night.
swine. Yeah.
God, that was a terrible rendition, both of you. We'll get flagged just for terrible renditions.
Yeah.
Yeah, no
Yep.
doubt.
Oh yeah, Eric.
That was from the 1983 album "Can't Slow Down" by Lionel Richie. For those of you
1983.
that give a shit.
Yeah. So Eric, were you here when I said that our most watched video was? Yeah, you were here. So LMP, the one we did 2 weeks ago, episode 46, is our most watched episode.
Really?
I told
20
you,
views.
hot Asians.
Hot Asians, and you post in Japanese. No one knows what you're saying.
They just love them milky Japanese jugs. Can you really blame them?
Yeah. No. The I forget I think of Hall of Fame. The top rendering is her name in Japanese, and I think Hall of Fame is what the bottom was. So,
I got some visitors right now. So if you hear any background noise, that's probably people saying hello or asking me about my day.
It's Ola.
hola.
Yeah.
Donde
You're about to hear even my Boro even talk to me.
See,
Hold on a sec while I get the door to my kids. How you kids doing?
Tell him I said hi.
Chatting with some friends right now, so hold on. Go ahead, kids.
¿Cómo va su día?
Okay, great. That's fine. I've been talking with friends right now. Yeah, so you probably you probably heard of Pacos, and I don't know what's the female equivalent of Paco.
Paca.
I don't know. Juans or Juanitas. How about that? We make it easier.
Juanita. I know a woman whose name is Juanita, but I don't know. I don't think she's Spanish at all.
Hey, speaking of exotic Mexican names, I met a girl recently. Her name is Itzel.
Notice he said Mexican names, not Spanish names.
Well, also notice he's complaining about his wife calling him. He's constantly talking about meeting women.
Itzel. Like, what the?
Oh, damn it, Eric. Please don't tell me it's my connection.
No.
No, she's Mexican.
Kidsville?
I'm losing Eric.
Quit talking over him, LP.
Ithzel. Itzel.
Huh. Well, that is different.
She's a cute little piece of ass, too.
See, this is why your wife's been listening to this show, and that's why she keeps calling you. He's
big
talking
old
about other
booty.
women on that show. Sorry, my voice is too scratchy. I can't do a high-pitched squeal.
If she would have heard some of the shit I said about her on this show, I'd be depressed.
Well, I mean, I can hear you just fine. It's Eric. He's dying on me.
Yeah. No, Eric's there. He's just very loud.
Eric, step into the light.
No, I like the dark.
And
Yeah,
see,
baby.
that's why you'll never transition over. You'll never cross over. And you'll never get some guy named John Edwards ever asking you to damn it. I had something. I ruined my own self just now. I'm gonna kick my own ass if I could.
Yeah, you go do that.
Mm-hmm.
Well, we won't wait. Go ahead and do that.
I will slap myself on air. Well, not on air, but you know what I mean.
No, we don't. Yeah, we don't need you slapping. We don't need to hear you slapping the paint. Kendo would have some kind of smart like comment, but I can't do Kendo. I have no internal Kendo. Yeah.
Wherever Kendall is now, I'm pretty sure he's either smiling at us or probably laughing at us. Either one of the two. They're both the same.
Yeah.
They were Eric.
We got more plugs from the main show this past week, so that was good. Just remember, folks, Kendo started here. Go listen.
Yep. He will always be the best Fancast member.
Yep.
And not for that, I don't think we've ever had one better.
No, a lot of energy there. A lot of interaction.
Mm.
Now he has a job, though. We'll see. But yeah, I did mention that. I don't remember him saying some of the things to me that he claimed. But hey, I don't listen to half of what he says anyway. So, and I didn't really complain. As I was telling TapAndDie before we started, I didn't really complain so much about the steakhouse. I was just I just said my experience, and I've been to a bunch of fancy ones, and that's the first time I actually paid. And we got two of them, different ones here, and Cincinnati I've been to, and I've been to some other ones that it just. Hey, I'm just grateful that we came in there with mostly jeans and t-shirts, and they let us in. So.
Hey Brian, was that your first time in Indiana?
No.
It's an interesting place, isn't it?
Been to Indianapolis before, but mostly on the north side. I had a friend of mine. This guy I used to work with. He's from India, so his son's birthday party one year. Actually, just last fall we went back up there for I forget how old his son was, but yeah, it's so freaking flat. I mean, I thought this place was flat when I lived in Tennessee, and man, it's just like flat. You can see everywhere. But downtown, I'd never been downtown before, so it was interesting. To me, it reminded me a lot of downtown Columbus. Columbus has these very wide, Cincinnati's like surrounded by hills, and it's on a hill. You're going to walk up and down to get anywhere. It's not San Francisco's hills, but it's hilly, but they have very narrow sidewalks. There they got very wide sidewalks, these very wide streets. So it reminded me a lot of Columbus, actually. A better planned out city.
Yeah, I've been there several times. It's nice.
Yeah, we were like across, just like 2 blocks away from the stadium. Their stadium, you wouldn't know it's a football stadium. It's a very odd shaped building. It's all indoors. But it was nice. I mean, we walked around. Downtown wasn't too bad.
Okay, so what I gathered from all this is that we're not to take you to any future to any steakhouses in the future.
No, we can go to a normal steakhouse. It's the high-end ones, the ones that are so full themselves you can feel it when you walk in. And it's, hey, we're going to charge you $50 for a steak just because this is who we are. It's not going to be any better than the steak down the street that costs $20. We're going to cook it with more pretentiousness.
I agree with that.
And
yeah,
it wasn't that. I mean, I was really hungry. It wasn't bad. It wasn't like but I had a creme brulee dessert that was bland, almost tasteless. The rub. I knew the rub was going to be too salty. I've never been to some place that didn't have too salty a rub. That's just my lot in life. I don't eat a lot of salt, so a lot of things are salty to me. So that's just my problem. But it was better. See, we have 2 here. We have 3 here I know of in Cincinnati. I've only been to 2. So it's either Jeff Ruby or Jack. I think it's Jeff Ruby downtown. And there's the Precinct, which I've never been to. And then there's, I think it's called the American Grill. It's over in Rookwood Commons. And I've been to that one. And that one I liked the best. We had a thing for work there. We were in the back room. Wasn't so bad. But the Jeff Ruby Steakhouse was just creepy. It was just, the guy followed me to the bathroom. I'm like, the waiter. I'm like, I don't need you to hold my hand. What I'm going to do is you're going to shake it while I stand there. I mean, that guy was very creeped out. Yeah.
Why?
I don't know why. To make sure I didn't get lost.
Well, he wanted to hold something, but not your hand.
Yeah.
You whipped your dick out and said, hey, you want to suck this or what, motherfucker?
Yeah.
Oh,
But I was there.
Leap it, ain't it? Suck on this.
I was there for work, but it's like, and there's another one, actually, Ruth Crisp I've been to, that was a big, like, Christmas event for AAA. So that was like 40 of us, but so it was a very limited menu, but that wasn't so bad. But yeah, the high-end ones, I just know that I'm not going to get, well, no matter what I say, I'm not going to get what I asked for. And they all have horrible beer menus, and this one was no exception. And I don't know, I ordered something off the tap, but it was so bad, I don't even remember what it was called. I should have asked the waiter, are your taps dirty, or is this just a horrible IPA? I wanted something hoppy, and it was I think it was a local. I couldn't even remember. It was terrible, and that's what I find is most of these places have a handful of beers, if anything. Of course, their wine cellar is what they rave about. Well, I can't drink wine. The sulfide, I get headaches from the sulfides in the preservatives in wine, so that's out. And beer is a better combination with food anyway. And, they're going to have beers that aren't going to, and not knowing what stuff tastes like, it's hard to get a beer that's correct. But yeah, I don't even know what it was. It was it's not, and this is what I was telling TapAndDie, part of why I don't complain at a restaurant unless they really screw up is it's not going to amount to anything good. If I send something back to be recooked, I'll be lucky to get,
Usually it doesn't.
Now I'm pushing my luck, okay? If they give me a discount or do anything like that because I'm not satisfied, most likely they're going to take it from the waiter's cut of the tip. And it's not his fault. He's not cooking anything. He's not pouring. This is the other thing that drives me insane, and I even talk about it in some of my beer reviews. it's a high-end restaurant. I expect them to know how to serve beer, and they never do. I get a draft that's too cold, wrong glassware. Not only wrong glassware for beer, wrong glassware for this style of beer. It's like, look, Snooty, if you're going to have this highfalutin attitude, know how to serve beer properly. You should be teaching me stuff that I don't know, not the other way around. And you go to just run-of-the-mill restaurants in Europe, and you'll get beer in a proper glass, served at the proper temperature, no matter where you go. Yet here, we'll put it in a shaker glass, and we'll do this. That's great for a mixed drink. It's horrible for beer. It's obviously not driven me to heights like Jim Cook at Sam Adams, who he got so fed up with it, he designed his own glass that's pretty good for most styles of beer and works very well. And if you ever watch any of my beer reviews, every once in a blue moon, I have to use a shaker because everything else is dirty, and I'll even apologize for it. But those Sam Adams glasses are perfect for IPAs, for lagers, for pilsners. I mean, you could argue pilsners to be in a fluted glass, but that one works well enough. And then when I do a Belgian beer, I put them in tulip glasses. Downstairs I have glassware I don't use for anything. I have a Duval. I have some of these others. Chimay. I really should put those beers in those glasses because that's what they're designed for. They're not just ornaments. And so when I go into a place that's going to charge me, it was almost $100 for me to eat, and I was not full when I left. Then get it right? Because I can guarantee if I would have ordered a wine, I would not have had any of those problems. It would have been a proper glassware, proper temperature, based on the type of wine I ordered. Yet beer is just, this is just for, idiots who come in here and belch. So there you go. There's a bitch fest, Kendo. That's me whining and complaining. But I've offered my services on the internet. No one gives a crap. So that means you can go down the road to some dive bar and they'll get it right. Sometimes, not always. So
Damn, that's how you get a beer.
You should have got that vagina beer.
Yeah.
That's what you should have asked for.
Properly fermented.
Yeah, that's a very weird thing. I couldn't tell if that was a joke or not. Well, it's just the bacteria. So they're taking a yeast, they're using a brewery yeast, and then they're doing bacteria infection of the beer to make it slightly sour.
Extra stuff.
Yeah, I don't know, but it's not as weird as that feminist who made cheese with her vagina yeast.
God, no, that's just awful.
So it's a gimmick. It probably is. You wouldn't notice from any other sour beer. It's I forget which bacteria they were using, but anyway. But anyway, there's my rant for the night.
As long as it doesn't leave the aftertaste of pussy in your mouth, I think you're good to go.
No, it won't, because they take. Never mind. I talked about it when we looked it up. Go find whatever episode that was. Go find it, and you'll know exactly what I'm talking about. So.
Yeah, you gave us the long and educational speech on that one.
Yeah.
Uh-huh.
I know what I mean. I'm not a professional brewer, and I'm not a brewmaster, and I've not taken the college courses to get all the certifications. But for the most part, I know what I'm talking about. And the guys did like the 50,000. The ale that I had made for them. Jeff said it was hoppy. It really isn't that hoppy. It's more malty. But I'll tone down the hops for the next one. I got to get started on that too. So, I did give. There was a brewery there, the name of which I forget, that did a beer for the convention, and they were doing it was 3D. So they it was a pale ale that they added beets, various types of beets to get different, like almost a blood color. So it has several different shades of red in there, and that imparts an earthy tone. And then they also added glitter, which also imparts a slight flavor. But you could only get it in the draft. The bottles didn't have the glitter in it. So Kendo and I walked downstairs and got it on draft, and then came up with the glasses. And Nick's like, "You can just walk around with that?" And yeah, I asked like 5 different people, and it's fine. It's pretty cool. Then I didn't know what the heck to do with the glass when I was done, so I just went out and found a tray out in the hallway and stuck it on there. But
You should have found the nearest Mexican and smashed it over his head.
no.
Oh,
It was in a
fuck
shaker
you.
glass too, which was very thick and annoying. But it was $7 for a pint on draft, or $11 for a 12-ounce bottle. And it was like, that's insane. But the people that made it, they said that they didn't control the price. They said if you really want the full experience, go downstairs. It's $4 cheaper and get it from the bar. So I did. But I gave them a bottle of mine, but I haven't heard back from them yet.
All right, guys, I am home now, so I have to say goodnight.
All right. Yeah, well, we're going to be wrapping up soon anyway.
All right.
All I
Yeah,
can
this
say
has been an
is,
interesting episode.
all I can say is, please pray for me.
Just relax. Don't do it when you want to come to it.
Please,
No.
Don't pull the trigger.
Please pray that Leanne McAdoo will somehow appear in my front yard naked and will knock on my front
Yeah.
door.
Just
I won't pray for you, California.
Just tell her, just say you need a hot bath with candles. It'll be good.
I already told you she likes them darker. So
Calgon, take me away.
You asked out.
Ask her if she needs a bath with some man juice.
Yeah, that really works for women. How'd you ever get married?
Hey, it works in porn.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm fairly certain if you paid your wife $10,000 in cash, she would let you do that.
All right, I got my youngest son.
All right,
my youngest son not harassing me right now. So,
Okay, see ya.
all right, you guys take care. Bye.
Bye.
See ya.
Later.
All right, so we got about 14 minutes left. Anything else you guys want to talk about?
I got some. What?
Yeah, go ahead. So I got here late. I completely forgot everything.
I did say, Brian, I feel bad for you about your steak experience. So I do want to say, if you ever come down to Dallas, I know a good little place that you can go to called the Steakhouse. Has this big old cow on top of it. It's a well-known place here in Dallas. They bake pretty good steaks. No, they don't serve beer though, but we got the next best thing, iced tea. That's what us Texans are known for. Our sweet love for sweet tea.
Yeah, sweet tea.
But I think-
I can't do that either, man. That'll give me a headache and a half, all that sugar. I know I'm a very sensitive, well, as Kendra would say, pussy. But, yeah.
Well, you'll like the steak though.
No, it's steak and barbecue, man. And real chili, not this stuff in Cincinnati
Okay.
with spaghetti noodles.
Mm-hmm.
So,
That's
The only thing I'll say is if the guys ever come to New York City, whether it be you guys or anything like that, yeah, I'm not taking you guys to no damn steakhouse or anything like that. There ain't, in my opinion, you can go to like an Applebee's here, and you can go to like a Outback Steakhouse. It's all the same. But I'd just rather go to whichever has a special and get that. It's all good in my mind.
yeah.
But
Well, I mean, I had a filet mignon. What I did was what they call I think Taste of Indy. It was smaller portions, but I was trying to keep my bill, from getting out of control. But even then, like the mashed potatoes were fairly bland and the green beans were good. But I'm like, this is just it. Granted, I don't run in those circles, so typically I don't go to places like that. So maybe my expectations are very out of whack with reality. But if that's your norm, well, I don't know what you do for a living, but that'd be interesting. So I really can't comprehend, but I've been to a lot worse places, Western Sizzling or something. It just, I asked for steak, not shoe leather. So,
oh God,
yeah. But hey, it goes in a pinch. But yeah, when I, as a freshman in college and on soccer team, we ate in a lot of places like that. It wasn't bad. After a game, it was like just, you had a huge salad bar and a decent steak and a baked potato. And when you're 18 years old, it's all you need. So,
yeah. Well, New York City is more of a hamburger or pizza place area. So thankfully, we got all the good. I could probably tell you more good spots where to get those, or even tacos, as opposed to getting the good steak around here in these parts.
Well, aren't there a couple of really good hot dog places too in New York? Not just
the
Nathan's, but
yeah.
But there's something in Jamaica. I thought there was a good hot dog stand too.
There's actually a chain here. If I remember correct, the name is Papaya Dog, which is actually one of the best spots to go to, in my opinion. Thing is, like hot dogs really around here. Hot dogs used to be all. You could used to find hot dog vendors like all over the place here in New York City. Years ago, they've like in the last 10 years they've slowly disappeared. It's not the big thing it used to be before. Unfortunately.
Were you talking vendors on the street?
Mm-hmm.
Oh yeah, that
Yeah, we have
give me diarrhea.
you know the hot dog carts?
Yeah, but no, yeah, hot dog because I know I saw on Food Network or something like that one time. It's been a few years. They talked about some places in New York. There were some places like in Detroit. I mean, there's weird things that people do to hot dogs. So
Yeah. Well, yeah.
not that way. I mean, what they were dressing them up with is pretty interesting.
Well, listen. Okay, listen. My Wi-Fi broke, and I needed to watch something on X videos.
So yeah,
We got the best tacos down here, LMP. That's all I was just gonna say. It's called Taco Bell. No, we have a place called was it Caesar's Tacos? I think that's one of them. So you come down here and try our tacos, and we'll talk. That way we can talk.
I don't know. I'm certain you got to have some great taco spots around there. I know we have some around here as well. There's even a nice little restaurant a ways out of the city, a little bit of a drive away, but I wouldn't call it really like a taco joint. It's just one of them Mexican chains, but it's really good. It's really good. Like there's places around here to eat, but like I said, it's like if you really wanted to get something good to eat around here in New York City, we're more of like the hamburger, pizza, like the fast food stuff type of thing.
yeah. Well,
Steakhouses, they have them, but like realistically speaking, if you're probably better off, like you said, just going to like I said earlier, like just go to like a TGIF or an Applebee's or something like that, and it's like the same thing, really. There's almost no difference.
Yeah, there's a difference, but there's not much of a difference. It's the chains I wouldn't do. I'd do some local place. I would rather go to some local place, whether it's a burger joint or even if it's a steakhouse. I don't like supporting the chains unless I have to. There was a Jewish bakery. It wasn't open on Sunday that has some pretty good stuff that they were talking about, which would have been cool. But I mean, I'll do the same thing if I go to a coffee shop, which I don't frequent either. But I'll try to get something local. That's why I even get the beer that's local. I'm not going to get the Budweiser or any other crap. It's like what's local. It tends to be fresher, it tends to be better. Except this IPA that I had, which was really not good at all. I don't remember what it was, but So, and then later I had an Upland IPA that night, and it was like, oh, this isn't any better. So maybe, who knows, maybe it was me. I mean, here's something that happened in Indy. So Friday, I called Nick while he's on his way and asking him, hey, because he drives to my house. And I'm like, what have you got in the cooler? Do you have enough room for my stuff? And he said, the cooler's empty. I was like, what? Because I was going to get some ice and some beers over at Meyer. So yeah, we'll get it there. Bad advice. So we get, I put 24 bottles in the cooler. Or no, I guess I take it. No, I take it. I have the cardboard boxes. So we transfer all the crap from my car to from his car to mine. We go pick up Jeff. We drive. It is hot as crap in the vendor room. It's not. It's like they don't even have the air on. It's very strange. There's not even a big crowd yet. So at some point, it's decided we got to go get some beers. And I had filled up the cooler with ice. I had iced down my stuff, but we didn't have anything else. So the idea was to go get some stuff and ice it down, or maybe I did it. I don't remember. Anyway, I forgot that I didn't have my license with me. So Kendo and I, we go outside so the GPS will work right. We do like CVS near us, and it says to go some direction, and we go and we don't find anything, or Walgreens or whatever it was, and it keeps saying it's right here, and it's like, I'm looking at the freaking building. It's not here. So we walk around. I think it was Walgreens. And I did CVS, and it says, well, there's one down at the end of the block. So we go down the end of the block. We go in, trying to figure out what in the heck Jeff wants. They have a crappy beer selection. It's not great. Kendo picks up, I think, Keystone Light or something. And I pick up a pack of Hams cans. So I get up to pay, and then I realize I don't have my license. And I'm like, I haven't been carded in I don't even know how long. And the lady says, do you have your identification? This young lady behind them. I said, yeah, I forgot it. So sorry, I can't sell it to you. It's CVS policy. And I was like, do you know how many? It's been 20 years since, at least, since, maybe about 20 years since I've been carded at an establishment like this. Other than like say the airport or something. I'm trying to get on a plane. Mm-hmm. And I was like, you got to be kidding me. So then Kendo tries to go and buy it, and they said, no, we're sorry, you can't buy it for him. And I'm like, ugh. So the good of it is I got to eat my Jimmy John's sandwich on the way back. But by the time we get back, it is just, he's all, all bent out of shape about it. I don't really care. And we ice some stuff down, and then we bring the cooler, and then we're thinking, are we going to have problems? And this cooler's heavy as crap. And nope, we just bring it in. I said, just walk like you know where you're going and you're supposed to be here, and don't stop. And that's what we did. So, but yeah, it was very bizarre. And then somebody brought some tequila. I think that was for Dion, technically. Dion brought some, so check this out. So he brought a bourbon, and he left it in the cooler too. So all that went home with Nick, Dion. I only have the Irish whiskey that we found in the lobby, and some of the beers that were left over. So the good ones, except the PBR. I got one can of PBR. I'm really going to review a PBR can. So there we go. I gave away a secret. What the frick was I talking about? I don't remember. What was I talking about?
You were just talking about
the bourbon.
CVS.
The bourbon.
Yeah, the bourbon, yeah.
So, you've got all these beers, especially the stouts and stuff. They'll age beers in bourbon barrels. Well, this is a bourbon aged in a beer barrel. So they age it in there. And it was New Holland, I think. And I think they just swap containers. So they age it in a regular, oak, I think it was oak, barrel. And then they poured it out, and they put it into a barrel that had beer in it. I don't remember what kind of beer. It was very good, and I should have drank more of that. But yes, Saturday, there was like this wedding party or something. There was all these young people dressed way overdressed for where we were. And they were in the bar, and they left, and they were all congregating in the lobby, and then they all left, and there was a group in this sitting area. They all left, and we were all like getting ready to head back to our hotel. And I noticed a bottle, like half a bottle of Irish whiskey just sitting there, and it was very good. So we kept it from being tossed out. So, and I might take a shot before I go to bed tonight. All right, so let's wrap up, because I'm almost out of a voice completely. So any other last things they want to say? Let's just get it out and end this puppy.
Okay, LMP. Do you know why there was only 3,000 Mexicans at the Alamo? Jeremy? LMP?
Yeah, I'm listening. So I've got enough company in me. It's just some stuff was going on in the background.
I said, do you know why there was only 3,000 Mexicans at the Alamo?
No, why?
Because we only had 4 trucks. yeah.
Oh, that's good.
Oh man, I was like, for a second I'm like, wait a second, and then it just hit me. So it wasn't me being slow; it was me taking an extra minute to catch up.
I said my piece, and then
do I have anything left to say? Not really, because I came the most ill-prepared tonight.
Alrighty, well, let's do the Hall of Fame and call it a day. So I think this is the second week that we've gone back to Kendo's original title, which was we're not calling it Kendo's Hall of Fame. We're calling it the TC, FC Hall of Fame for Fancast. I guess you could do TFC if you wanted. So keeping with an international flair, we have Priyanka Chopra as our inductee into the Hall of Fame for episode 47. So congratulations, Priyanka. You can see her in movies as Par Impossible and the great blockbuster movie of last summer, something Beach. Come on, guys, help me out.
Myrtle Beach.
Not Myrtle Beach. The David Hasselhoff TV show
God, I don't know.
that they made into a movie.
Baywatch.
See, that's nothing. It's not something beach. It's Baywatch. So anyway, she's a lot better in Par Impossible and a couple other movies I've seen her in. She's much better in the Bollywood movies. That's Love Impossible, the full English, and then there's also, if you ever look up Dozy Girl, sometimes I will post that song. I forget what movie that's from. That's Desi Girl. She's the Desi Girl are all doing Gaga over. But anyway, Priyanka Chopra is our Hall of Fame inductee for episode 47, and she'll be on the thumbnail with all the Star Wars stuff that we didn't really talk about. I had it on here, episode 9. We casting, y'all. And so they were casting for episode 9 stuff, but anyway. And the title of this is going to be Behold the Great Turkey, Charlie Brown. In honor of Beyond.
Click.
Yep. All right, so let's sign off. So before LMP has to drop, and I need some whiskey.
Sounds like my connection is going off and on me again.
Yep. Say goodnight, LMP.
Wow. Crap, my connection's going on and off again. Well, good night, ladies and gentlemen.
And also has been with us, TapAndDie.
Good night, everyone, and only buy propane and propane accessories.
I tell you
Certified
what.
propane and propane accessories. What? All right, I have been your ill but... All right. I've been Brain Muffin Lifting Nerd, also known as Channel Dad. I did change my Twitter to Channel Dad, so check it out. And let's just play the bumper music and stop bebopping LMP.
Beat up.